And as you've been hearing the past weeks, many countries in Europe are experiencing an unprecedented heat wave this summer. Now, this is affecting, of course, people, but also the flora and fauna. Many say these extremes of weather are being worsened by climate change. Now, the photographer, Richard Fisher, is raising awareness about endangered plants from around the world. Robin Merritt from our culture desk is here to tell us more. Welcome, Robin. And it seems some of these plants can sell for six-figure sums.
Yeah, they certainly can, actually. They can sell for the price of a painting by a sort of world-famous top contemporary artist, you know, six-figure sums, as you say. The extraordinary thing is that these plants are created quite naturally by nature, so we can and we must look after them. Now, experts say that around 30% of the world's plant species are actually endangered, which was amazed me that so much. And this photographer, Richard Fischer, awakens our senses with his exquisite, I mean, they are exquisite photos, close-up pictures, showing us how awesome the flora is on our planet. He actually recently had an exhibition, and we're going to see some pictures of that, had an exhibition at the German Environmental Agency in Dessau.
Earth laughs in flowers, as American poet Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote in his poem Hamatreya. Photographer Richard Fischer shows us blossoms that brighten our spirits. Flowers like these radiate joy and light.
I put the plant on a stage, give it a relatively neutral background, and I separate it from all the foliage, from everything that surrounds it. And I focus on a very fundamental factor, the flower itself.
And then it looks as imposing as this rare Rothschild slipper orchid. Fischer shows it just before it blooms and in full bloom.
This flower is traded on the black market. You won't get one for under $5,000. Why? Because it's extremely endangered. It only grows on the island of Borneo, on Mount Kinabalu, and nowhere else in the world. Incidentally, the flowers are all much smaller than they appear here. This one's so high and so long when it opens, and roughly so small when it's closed.
A selection of Fischer's photos has been published in a new book entitled A Tribute to Flowers. It reveals the fragility of his subjects and presents dying divas, flowers that have entered the final stage of their lives.
Decay, dying, and death make us uncomfortable. We'd rather not have anything to do with them. Though we do in nature, and in this case, taking the flower as a metaphor, you realize that there's something spectacularly beautiful and awe-inspiring about it. Mainly awe-inspiring.
Ultimately, Richard Fischer is creating a kind of photographic Noah's Ark with his pictures.
The first endangered flowers that I photographed 15 or 17 years ago no longer exist. Some are already extinct. It's a big dilemma, a big problem, but at least my photographs exist.
And that's something to be thankful for.
Gosh, some very unusual and exquisite flowers there.
Yeah, extraordinary.
You know, let's look at another photographer who's raising awareness about another part of the planet which is under threat.
Yeah, this is Olaf Otto Becker, and his subject is melting. And, well, you can guess, we're talking about the ice caps. And this is especially relevant after the news earlier this year. I'm still looking in wonder at this orchid. But this is especially relevant, the news earlier this year about the warming waters in the Antarctic. These are the waters, the ice under the Antarctic, as it were, the base of the Antarctic, has melted to the tune of 1,500 square kilometres have melted. That is the size, if we can compare it with Greater London, if you can imagine that. And all that shrinkage happened in just 4 years, between 2010 and 2016, when they were measuring all this. Now, Olaf Otto Becker, actually, he is up the other end of the planet in the north. And the North Pole, which has always been considered in more danger than the South, and you can see in some of his most stunning pictures these beautiful-looking blue rivers. Well, very beautiful, but unfortunately created by the ice melting. And these rivers are actually cutting through the Greenland, the land, you know. So much water is melting there. Again, a comparison again. If you took the water that's melted there and plonked it on Germany, we'd all be under 1 metre of water.
Gosh.
But of course, it's spread across the whole planet, so we don't notice it much. But these two artists are reminding us all with their art how our natural environment is in danger and is forever changing.
Right, thank you very much, Robin Mel, for that. And I guess there's lots more on your website on both these.
There is indeed, and that exhibition of Richard Fischer's is actually moved down to the south of France to a town called Negre-Pelissier now.
OK, so that's where our viewers can look out for that. Thank you very much, Robin Merrill.